Previously on her motorcycle adventures. It's me and a campfire to keep me warm and endless space to ponder my place in this world.
If you ever, you can't keep me far away for long.
Well, I kind of got myself into a bit of a mess. It's not unusual for me. You see, I thought I had it all planned out, but as oftentimes happens during any adventure, those plans found themselves, well, turned on their head. Let me explain, shall I? As you'll recall, in the previous episode, I had a fantastic time in Cobar. I was seeking solitude, and wow, did I get it. Beautiful sunrises, stunning sunsets, and all of the peace and quiet a girl could ever need. Just me and my bike. As it turned out, quite coincidentally, this trip coincided with the recent lunar eclipse, when the Earth, of course, is positioned between the moon and the sun. And this in turn attracted some people to the region to get the best possible shot of the event. And one of those people had recently left Dunlop Station, an old 1 million acre station in far north New South Wales. He enthralled me with tales of deserted old buildings dotted amongst some incredibly isolated territory. Well, he had me intrigued. I just had to check it out. After all, I like my seclusion, right? As fate would have it, there was one rather formidable challenge ahead of me. Much of the route ahead of me involved riding on dirt roads. And since I am riding a strictly road bike with road tyres, I allowed myself a conservative 4 hours to do what usually could have been accomplished in under 2. As it turned out, I'd need every second of that extra time and more. The dirt road soon came to resemble sand. Red dirt drifts were everywhere, and keeping the motorcycle shiny side up was proving increasingly difficult, to say the least. Surprised I'm still upright, but that's the main goal of today is to stay upright. I'm doing pretty well considering that I'm on road tyres, so I'm pretty happy, but it's really slow going. But I mean, you know, you have to be patient, you have to just go with the conditions. I said to the universe, how hard can this be? And the universe gave me sand. Booyah! Now, there's plenty of well-intended road cowboys out there who'd readily declare, just lean back and let her rip. Drift over the sand, you'll be fine. Not on an overloaded front-heavy road motorcycle with road tyres, I won't be. There's one surefire way to get fast-tracked to the local hospital via the Royal Flying Doctor Service. I decided to choose sure and steady. I may be a little late, but I'd get there. And eventually I did get there. It was everything I could have imagined. Wide open spaces was an understatement. A person could blink and get lost out here. Tracks to the left, tracks to the right, not many of them signposted, and each headed to what appeared to be, well, the horizon. Eventually I stumbled across the old homestead built in the 1800s. People come from all over Australia for a peek in that place. Ironically, today it appeared totally empty. Actually, the entire place looks suspiciously empty. It was around this time, upon chatting with the proprietors, that I learned of the big mistake I'd made. There was rain on the way. Not just a little rain, but a lot of it. It was certainly enough rain to flood much of the open spaces and to, of course, close the roads out of the region. I'd inadvertently got myself stuck. I was going nowhere for at least the next week. Not that it was all bad. I had accidentally got myself stuck in paradise. Well, my idea of paradise anyway. I had all of the amenities that I'd need, but there was to be no way out, not even to the home of the proprietors of the station. I'd have to stay put until the water subsided. So, what does a girl do in such a situation, one may ask? Well, make herself at home, of course. To the uninitiated, this just looks like typical old shed, like no big deal. But I'm going to let you in on the secrets of this humble old shed in the back of Beyond, because it does have quite a few secrets. Actually, I'll let you in on them before we get there. This humble little shed used to be where the shearers that worked over in the shed over here used to shower. I kid you not. Yes, this shed, dating back to 1880, is where they used to shower. However, there are a few modern upgrades. Okay, so the modern updates include lights. I mean, that comes in handy when one wants to have a late night shower, one would think. Some seating. I mean, you know, after a hard shower, I mean, you know, who doesn't want to sit down? A shower curtain, because, hey, I mean, the price of modesty, right? Some shower caddies. I mean, I actually think we're getting a little bit fussy with the shower caddies, but I digress. Anyway, apart from that, look at how rustic these things are. I mean, these shearers workers had these showers back in the 1800s, and I mean, this is original. Another modern upgrade and a very practical and special upgrade, which I don't think is very fussy, is, of course, your washing machine. Now, you might be thinking, how does all this get powered? Duh! A generator, of course. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've been waiting for this all day. Being out in the outback and all. As time went on, I set about exploring the old buildings, And one such building was this old wool shed built in the 1800s. It was the first mechanised wool shed of its kind in Australia, and it was hauntingly authentic. I couldn't help but feel a connection with a bygone generation of yesteryear. Walking through this old shearing shed actually brings back very fond memories of my childhood. Not that my father had a 45 stand wool shed. We were more like a more conservative 4-stand wool shed. But it brings back happy memories for me of my childhood, for when I used to muster the sheep in for my father, and when it was shearing time and dipping time. So many memories of working with sheep, and this shed in all its glory. I can't help thinking, if my father was alive, that he would absolutely find this historic shed absolutely fascinating because of the history of it. And I just get a sense of nostalgia being here. Ironically, the floodwaters were gone pretty quickly, but this left an insanely slippery clay-based surface that was almost impossible to walk on, let alone ride on. But eventually it dried out enough for me to set out and explore. This place was everything I'd fantasised about and more. I could just point the bike in any direction and ride. Everything was a curiosity to me, From old fence lines dating back over 100 years to an assortment of local wildlife like kangaroos, emus, an echidna even, and the occasional feral goat. I was totally in the moment. Fellow motorcyclists know what it's like to be totally in the moment. Most of us live for that moment. But for me, at that exact point in time, I was in a world of absolute awe and wonder. It was like I was riding around a painting. It was like I was granted a free pass to explore a history that's long gone, and to do so alongside local wildlife for as long as I wanted to. I don't know about you, but a place like this moves me. It really does. For me, this was a life-changing experience I'll never forget. It truly was just me and the motorcycle. I couldn't get out, and it'd be insanely difficult for others to get in. I was in my own accidental paradise, and I can declare here and now that I loved every minute of it. And that's the exciting thing about a motorcycle adventure with no pre-planned route or destination. It's not scripted, it doesn't have a set timetable, nor is it predictable. It's none of these things. A good adventure is open to change, open to embracing random possibilities. I think anything less than that is a tour, not an adventure. Sometimes life's best experiences happen by mistake, right? But often those very experiences would never have happened without taking that very first step, trying something new and embracing the unknown. Dunlop Station isn't anywhere near 1 million acres nowadays. Much of that land was sold off to individual landholders when operations ceased. But that doesn't take away from it at all. A massive restoration process is underway to restore and preserve this valuable piece of Australian history. So, if you find yourself in the neighbourhood, and what a vast neighbourhood it is, drop in and take a peek. And if you're handy with a tool or two, lend yourself a hand on this property. You won't regret it. Thanks again for watching this video. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you on the next episode of Her Motorcycle Adventures.